Welcome to Emma's English. Welcome back to Emma's English Talk, your daily channel for mastering real-world English. I'm your host, Emma. Today, we're going to watch and listen to a conversation about building good habits, breaking bad ones, and the psychology of daily routines. First, just sit back, relax, and try to catch as much as you can. Don't worry if you miss a few words. We will break down the key vocabulary in our word tour later in the video. Ready? Let's dive into the dialogue. It is amazing how much of our daily lives runs on absolute autopilot without us even realizing it until we actually stop and think about it.
That is so true. I was reading recently that something like 40% of the actions we take every day are not conscious decisions, but just automatic habits.
Exactly, which is why figuring out how to actively build good habits and break the bad ones is basically the secret to taking control of your lifestyle and reaching your goals.
But it always feels so incredibly difficult to start, especially when you decide you want to do something drastically different, like waking up at 6 in the morning to go running.
The biggest mistake people make in that exact scenario is relying entirely on their motivation, because motivation is just an emotion, and emotions fluctuate all the time based on your mood.
I can definitely relate to that. Usually by Wednesday, my initial burst of motivation to wake up early has completely vanished, and I just smash the snooze button instead.
We all do it, and that happens because willpower is a limited resource that drains throughout the day, so you absolutely cannot depend on it to force a new behavior permanently.
If we cannot rely on our willpower or our motivation to get things done, what are we supposed to use to actually make a new positive behavior stick for the long term?
The trick is to design systems that make the good behavior as easy as possible, and to fully understand the psychological loop that drives every single one of our habits.
I have heard a little bit about this psychological concept before, is that the idea where every single habit has a specific trigger that starts the whole automatic process.
Yes, it is widely known as the habit loop, and it consists of 3 distinct parts, which are the cue, the routine, and finally, the reward at the very end.
Can you break that down a bit more? Maybe give me a practical example of how that 3-part loop works in a normal, everyday situation?
Sure, think about brushing your teeth in the morning. The cue is waking up and feeling that your mouth is not clean, which immediately triggers the behavior.
And then the routine is the actual physical act of putting toothpaste on the brush and scrubbing your teeth for 2 minutes, right?
Precisely. And the reward is that fresh, minty feeling in your mouth afterward, which trains your brain to repeat the exact same process again tomorrow morning without you having to try.
That makes perfect sense. So the brain basically remembers that the specific routine is what led to the positive reward, and then it automates the whole thing to save energy.
That is exactly how it works. And unfortunately, this exact same 3-step loop is also responsible for locking in all of our terrible, unhealthy habits, too.
Like my terrible habit of immediately checking my phone and scrolling through social media the second I feel even slightly bored while I am working at my computer.
That is a perfect example to analyze. So in that specific situation, what would you say is the cue that actually starts the whole phone-checking process?
I guess the cue is just the feeling of boredom, or maybe hitting a difficult problem in my work that makes me want to look away for a quick second.
Right. That feeling of slight discomfort or boredom is your cue, and the routine is grabbing your smartphone and opening up your favorite social media application to scroll.
And the reward is the quick hit of dopamine and the temporary distraction from whatever difficult or boring task I was supposed to be focusing on at my desk.
Exactly. So if you want to break that bad habit, you cannot just tell yourself to stop looking at your phone because your brain still naturally craves that specific reward.
So what is the actual solution then? Do I need to find a completely different way to deal with that initial feeling of boredom or frustration while I am working?
Yes, you have to keep the same cue and the same reward, but you intentionally swap out the routine for something healthier that provides a similar feeling of mental relief.
Oh, I see. So when I feel bored, instead of reaching for my phone, I could maybe stand up and stretch, or walk to the kitchen for a glass of water.
That is a brilliant alternative. Walking to the kitchen gives you a physical break and a moment of distraction, providing that same reward without the endless, mindless scrolling.
It sounds so simple when you explain it like that, but in the heat of the moment, it is really hard to stop the automatic reaction from taking over my hands.
That is why you have to make the bad habit physically harder to do, a concept known as adding friction to the process so the action is no longer automatic.
So adding friction would be something like putting my phone in a completely different room, or leaving it zipped inside my backpack where I cannot easily reach it.
Exactly. By putting the phone in another room, you force your brain to actually make a conscious decision to stand up and go get it, which breaks the autopilot mode entirely.
I actually tried deleting the social media apps off my home screen once, and just having to search for the app in the menus was enough friction to stop me half the time.
That is a fantastic strategy, because anything that creates even a 2-second delay gives your logical brain enough time to step in and stop the impulsive behavior before it happens.
Okay, so that covers breaking bad habits by adding friction. But what about starting new positive habits? Should we be trying to make those as frictionless as possible?
Absolutely, you want to remove every single obstacle standing between you and the good behavior, especially when you are just starting out and the new habit is incredibly fragile.
Going back to the early morning running example, would that mean laying out my exercise clothes and my running shoes right next to my bed the night before?
That is the perfect way to do it, because when your alarm rings at 6, you do not have to think about finding your socks, you just put them on and go.
It is almost like you are tricking your future self into doing the right thing by making the wrong choice take way more effort than the right choice.
You are literally hacking your own psychology. And another powerful technique for building new routines from scratch is something called habit stacking, which is incredibly effective for beginners.
Habit stacking sounds very interesting. Does that mean trying to build 3 or 4 different habits all at the exact same time so you can be super productive?
Actually, it is the exact opposite of that. Habit stacking means taking a brand new habit you want to build and attaching it directly to an old, well-established habit.
Oh, I think I understand. So you use an action you already do every single day on autopilot as the starting cue for the new thing you want to start doing.
Exactly. So if your established habit is brewing a cup of hot coffee every single morning, you could stack a new habit of reading one page of a book right after.
So the basic formula would be, after I pour my morning coffee, I will immediately sit down and read one page, which makes the coffee the trigger for reading.
Precisely. And because the coffee habit is already deeply wired into your brain, the new reading habit naturally piggybacks on that existing neural pathway, making it much easier to remember.
I love that idea. It feels so much more realistic and manageable than just declaring that I am going to magically start reading for an hour every single day out of nowhere.
That is the ultimate secret. You have to start ridiculously small, so small that it feels completely impossible to fail, like reading just one page or doing just 2 push-ups a day.
I always used to laugh at the idea of doing just 2 push-ups, because it feels like doing something that small will not make any physical difference to your body at all.
It might not make a physical difference immediately, but it builds the identity of being someone who exercises every day, and behavioral consistency is far more important than initial intensity.
That makes total sense. Once the core habit of actually getting on the floor every day is firmly established, it is much easier to increase the number to 20 push-ups later.
Exactly. You have to establish the standard behavior before you can optimize it. You simply cannot improve a habit that does not actually exist yet in your daily routine.
So the main takeaways today seem to be relying on systems instead of motivation, understanding the cue and reward loop, adding friction to bad habits, and starting incredibly small.
You summarized it perfectly, and if you can just master those few core principles, you can essentially program yourself to achieve almost any long-term personal goal you set your mind to.
I am definitely going to try the habit stacking technique tomorrow morning. I just need to figure out what tiny new habit I want to attach to my daily coffee routine.
Hi everyone, it is Emma here. Welcome to the word tour for today's episode. I want to go over 6 essential vocabulary words and phrases that Tom and I used during our conversation, which will really help you talk about routines and self-improvement in English. First, let's look at the phrase on autopilot. If you do something on autopilot, it means you do it automatically, without thinking about it at all, just like an airplane flying itself. Next is the word willpower. Willpower is your mental strength to control your actions and resist temptations. As I mentioned to Tom, willpower drains throughout the day, so you cannot always rely on it to get things done. The third phrase to remember is habit loop. This refers to the psychological circle of 3 steps, the cue, the routine, and the reward that creates all of our automatic behaviors. Our fourth term is friction. In physics, friction slows things down. In daily life, adding friction means making an action physically harder to do, like putting your phone in another room so you do not constantly look at it. On the other hand, we talked about habit stacking. This is a popular phrase in modern self-improvement. It means taking a new habit you want to start and attaching it directly to an old habit you already have, stacking them closely on top of each other. Finally, I used the verb to piggyback. When a new habit naturally piggybacks on an existing habit, it means it uses an existing structure to support itself and move forward easily, just like carrying a child on your back. Practice these 6 terms this week: on autopilot, willpower, habit loop, friction, habit stacking, and piggyback. Using these phrases will make your spoken English sound incredibly natural when you discuss personal growth. Great job today! Listening to natural English like this is the best way to improve your skills. Remember, you can download the free PDF script for today's episode from the link in the description below. It's perfect for reviewing the dialogue and practicing the vocabulary we learned. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening and keep up the great work. See you next time!